Every night I jack off surrounded by my 10 standees of every one of the doctors.
My that figurine has been up my asshole, so is that one.
I have
And that
7
one.
separate David Tennant figurines to stick up my anus for every day of the week. It is the one that most easily enters my anus. It is the prize of my collection.
Hello, this is your internet friends. I'm your host, QuickStix. My co-host is Banatical and Taffy. Say hello.
It's nice to have Six introduce us.
That's not very nice.
He's Scottish, he can't help it. Sorry, they're Scottish, okay? He's got one worse
Welcome all you
education
filthy
system in
Brit
Europe.
wrongers and all you fucking other people who watch Doctor Who. We're gonna talk about Doctor Who today. I don't know.
We're gonna educate you on Doctor Who. We're not even educated.
We're gonna stick figurines up our
We're
asshole.
gonna stick Doctor Who figurines up our ass. That is not what we are going to do, though we do promote that degeneracy. We here at Your Internet Friends do encourage figurine sticking up assholes. That's our newest platform for 2020. But what really we're gonna do is we're gonna be ranking these guys' top 10 favorite Doctor Who stories of the recent Whoniverse, because I don't give a shit, because I only watch cool shows like My Little Pony. So, I don't know anything about Doctor Who except for, like, season 1 of the new Who shit.
Yeah. Well, Taffy, do you want to go first, or should I go first?
Let me go first. So I would say school really fat me reading failing today and reunion. There we go, got it. Yeah, school reunion. That's
Whoa.
probably that's
So that's
That
your
one's
10?
fucking that one's shit.
How was that shit? How was that shit? How was that shit? It brings back Sarah Jane, but when we all companions. That's the only reason it's top 10. Also, I liked it's got the guy. It's got the guy from Buffy. I forgot his name now. The guy who plays whatever the fuck his name is. You know, the Buffy's a mentor. And Gerald. Is it Gerald? I don't know. One of them. One of them.
It's a dumb. It's about bats making kids intelligent with their oil.
Wait, that's the...
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But no. Plot is they what's it? The fucking they trying to crack the code of the universe or some shit like.
So,
like, what was it? Some bullshit.
Intelligent bats use their oil to make kids smart so that they can crack the code.
They can crack the codes to the universe. Like if you control it, you can bend the laws of physics.
It's like the anti-life equation.
Yeah.
That's
apparently you can do that from. Apparently you can do that with computers from 2005 and school students.
Apparently, that's the stupidest fucking plot I've ever heard.
No. I'm only included it because they bring Sarah Jane to the Gormit, where the banter and sort of, and also as well you get the jealousy between Rose being a jealous bitch because Sarah Jane cops, and you get K9. Don't forget K9. Don't forget K9. You get the new K9.
See, some people argue that K9 ruins Doctor Who.
Why is that?
Yeah, but
I don't know because he's goofy.
Yeah, like he was.
The greatest crime.
Yeah, that's he's a I don't know. He's just like K9.
I mean, the thing you have to learn, Banatical, about the Doctor Who fandom, they bitch about things being too goofy, even though the show's about a homeless man in a box traveling through time.
Does he really not own a home? Poor Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Well, you could say, but it's how no.
Isn't goofiness like the number one selling thing about it is that they just treat goofy situations as really serious? Like, I fucking, from what I remember, there was like wasn't there like an episode of where like the teachers are like fattening up the students to like eat them because they're aliens?
Oh yeah, no, that is the one that Taffy's talking about, the one that they're
No.
trying to make
Oh,
kids intelligent.
it's fucking
Yeah,
dope.
you
Yeah.
probably, no, that's you probably mixing it with the Simpsons horror special one of this. Anyway,
Yeah, I
that's a
know.
different shop. You probably mixing it up with
That's one of my
the
favorite
Simpsons
horror
horror
stories.
special.
Okay. Mine. I'll do my number 10 now, or do you want to do
Yeah,
all
let's
yours
do
at
it
once?
that.
Yeah.
Let's do switch
Okay. Well,
rounds.
yeah. Well, my number 10 is Human Nature and the Family of Blood.
Oh, yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. Uh, it's about the doctor. The doctor lands on in I think it's in the
Pretty well.
1910s.
Yeah, like just before the outbreak of World War One.
Yeah, just before World War One at a boys' prep school, and there's this alien. This alien's chasing after the doctor through time and space, and it has like a very short lifespan, and it lands at the prep school, and it takes over like people's bodies.
No, you forget. You didn't clarify. But in this episode, the Doctor puts his personality. So
Oh yeah,
they
yeah. I was
they
gonna get to
spell.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. The only way he could hide from the aliens is he has to hide his identity. So he puts his mind in a fog watch, uh, and he takes on this human persona, to blend in with the uh time he lands in. And then the episode, it's really good. It's about the Doctor. Like he sort of has to battle with, does he want to live this life as John Smith, or does he want to go back to being the Doctor? And he, does he want to? Because the Doctor sort of has to be there to protect the universe, but he doesn't know whether to go on and live that life, or live his human life, because he's always the Doctor's always sort of craved just a normal life, and yeah, the aliens are trying to hunt him out because I think they want to feed off the TARDIS's energy so they can live forever.
So he hides the TARDIS, and then his companion becomes one of the maids.
Oh yeah, and it's interesting because his companion's black at the time, Martha Jones, and she sort of has to face a lot of racial discrimination in that time period.
That's fun.
But yeah, no, it's really good. Sorry, what were you saying?
I said nothing like a bit of good old racism to spice things up.
But no, it's really good. You learn, it sort of delves into a aspect of the Doctor's psyche we've never seen before, and it's just really well done.
Cool. All right, Taffy, what's your number 9?
See, I'm trying to think. It's been years. I would say. I was gonna say with the fucking Blue Peter ones, tricking people, but I'm not gonna do that. What's the Blue Peter one called? With the fucking
Choose
Monsters.
11 monsters. That's it. 11 monsters. No, I'm not gonna say that because that would upset people. I say number 9 is the Apostle Planet plus the Satan Pit, and reason there's not any higher is because the CGI of anyway. I'll tell you a story. So the Doctor lands in the Apostle Planet. So there's this space. So long story short, there's this planet which is basically a black hole, and then there's this planet, and you would assume a planet would go into the black hole. And then they land up on the course of humans, being humans, we can make money off this. So is it mining or research company? Either mining or / research company lands on the planet, and they're trying to figure out why is this impossible planet. And it gets closer and closer. And then, so that's the first episode. And the second episode is a sort of nefarious evil force that is the planet itself is a prison for, well, Satan, what we would know Satan, so this evil. And then so it's, and I like it because David, I think especially back then, I think maybe in that. So the Doctor has always explained the monsters, whereas the Doctor has no fucking clue. And another thing as well, which is quite cool, the TARDIS can translate any language in the universe, but it can't translate the sort of
Yeah,
the
I think
symbols of the
isn't
beast.
it hinted that it's sort of a creature that existed before the universe?
Yeah, it's heavily hinted that like even before time began itself, it existed in some way. Like so, that's what you think, and it all implies that the inspiration of Satan comes from him. It doesn't say it's literally Satan, but it's sort of like some sort of Lovecraftian, like because it's some sort of like Lovecraftian monster, or exists, and but it raises not any higher.
It's kind of lame how it's defeated though. He just
He dies.
breaks some pots,
Yeah.
and then it dies.
Yeah, so yeah, it's I gotta say like the build up and the build up, and hopefully Ben will put the screen. But CGI that's early 2000 CGI, and it's all right. But it looks like a PS2 monster, especially when you build up, and then basically the Doctor is trapped in a cave. He falls down a pit, and he survives because he's trying to find the source. He's just trying to find the planet falling into a black hole. And then he reads like cave, and he looks at the basic human images, and he figures out his beast like before time, and the people before time, and then these people discover it, and then they trapped it in this planet. And it's all built up, and they turn around, and they see that fucking shit CGI. It's ruined. I think they should never have showed it because CGI ruins it because it just looks like the devil, and that's only.
Could have done it in a more subtle way, like it could have just been eyes. Like if they just turned the lighting down.
Yeah.
Just showed some of it.
Yeah, maybe just a figure in a dark, big giant figure in the darkness, or a voice in the darkness. Just...
It looks like a Michael Jackson demon or something.
So that's why it's anyhow. I like it because, but the build up and sort of the whole Lovecraftian Cthulhu element of this creature, which even the Doctor doesn't even know, like the origin of this creature. It just existed before time itself was made, and so I like that kind of thing. So hopefully Sticks don't have a go at me. So fuck you, Sticks. It's
no, I like this. I quite like this episode. It's quite It's a very atmospheric episode.
Like atmosphere.
You really like. I feel like that episode. I really feel like you're like on the edge of the abyss, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, because they're literally on the edge of the planet. So it reminds me a lot of Event Horizon that as well. And like obviously not as graphic because it's a kids' TV show. It's not as graphic, but sort of atmosphere of dread. And
actually, it's a family TV show.
It's family, Pichu. Family. That's number 9, then. That's number 9. So you go. Family, Pichu. You go Sticks. Don't copy me.
Number 9 for me is Midnight. Do you remember that one, Taffy?
Yeah, of course I did. That's never like, but that's similar to the Impossible Planet / Satan Pit.
Yeah, well, mine is quite similar to Taffy's. Midnight is about the Doctor goes to this planet that's made of diamonds, and he has to go. Like you can't be exposed to the planet because the diamonds. I think they reflect the light so much it basically incinerates you. And what he goes out on a rover to. I think it's like to tour.
Yeah, it's basically a spa day. So his companion is in a spa, and he says, "I'm in the spa. I'm going." Literally, he's like on an excursion. So he's not like he's even looking for trouble. They literally go to a planet made of diamonds. He says, "His companion is like, oh, this is supposed to be the best spa in the galaxy. I want to go to a spa." And he's like, "Fuck it, I'm going like an excursion, like a little rover trip, little tour around the planet."
But things go awry. This creature out on the planet's surface attacks their rover and enters the body of one of the passengers, and it copies everything that the Doctor does, and it copies everything that the people in the cabin do, like what they say and everything they say. It plays sort of these mind games with the Doctor and the passengers, and they're trying to figure out what this thing is. And then eventually, it sort of begins to, it takes over the Doctor. It starts to, I don't know exactly what it did, but it's almost like it's draining his life force away. Won't get into it. I don't want to spoil it, but it's really interesting, and I think that's what makes it a bit better than the Satan Pit is they don't ever show this monster.
Yeah.
They leave it up to the imagination of the audience.
So what happened is so they're driving along in this little cruise, and so the whole thing is they open sort of to show the planet like once or twice, and then they stop. And then the driver goes, "Oh, sorry, passengers, we got maintenance malfunction. We'll have to wait." And then next to is massive bangs, like a fucking creature climbing on the roof. And then they go, and then they hear a big massive clang, and then the hostess of I don't know what you say it, basically like an air hostess, goes to the front, like the cockpit, whatever. It goes to the front, where the drivers are, and then the whole thing's been disappears, like it's been fucking chunked, eaten.
Fun fact: Patrick Troughton's son is in this.
When?
Patrick Troughton was the second Doctor from the original series. For anyone who doesn't know, so yeah, he's in it. He plays like a scientist, and he's like the skeptic who's like, like there's nothing that can exist out on the planet. But then
it basically said she's mentally ill. She's suffering from. She's delusional. She's clearly mentally ill.
Yeah, but then even he begins, to believe that it's a monster because there's just too much things that can't be explained, and he sort of has to reevaluate how he perceives life in the universe because his definition of what life is pretty conservative compared to what this life form is.
So, my number 8. Are you finished this?
Yeah, I'm finished. Yeah, you can go on to number 8.
Number 8. So number 8, I would say.
This is why you should write a fucking list.
You didn't write a fucking list, Taffy?
Yeah, sort of. Fuck you. Well, I'm still evaluating my list, and I'm not sure. I would say Vincent and the Doctor, and then I know some people. I saw Vincent, as it says, Vincent. I don't know what Sticks thinks of that option as number 8. Vincent and the Doctor.
Oh, I have that. Yeah, I like that. It's on my list, but it's quite a bit higher than that.
Well, so I'll be quickly. So as the name implies, so Amy Pond, the companion of Matt Smith, the Doctor. She's like a big fangirl of Van Gogh.
Yeah, leg girl.
Yes, good sexy leg girl. Also, whatever the actress's name, if you see her, no. I don't have a crush on the actress. No. So he said, okay, I'll take you to Van Gogh. Right? Cause she's like, when you can go anytime, I want to meet Van Gogh. And so obviously meets Van Gogh, and it's of he's I don't have a high here because I don't like the way he handles depression. It's and also the creature's a bit shit. Like he's literally haunted. Like they explain his depression or his sort of mental illnesses. He's literally being haunted by. He's literally being tormented by.
Yeah, like a space buffalo, basically.
Yeah, so I think it's good because it's the touching. It does touch on mental illness, and it does sort of explain it and sympathetic. But then I think when he explains, like, I think it would be cool, in my opinion, if the Doctor's like, there's an alien, and turns out it's Van Gogh is actually was mentally ill, like in real life.
I'm not ashamed to admit it. That episode makes me cry every time I watch it.
She's a little bit. I won't spoil it, but that's my only criticism of Vince. Maybe Sticks and say why he likes it more than my main criticism.
We'll save that till mine.
Yes. So all I gotta say is the reason not any higher is because Vincent. I'd like to imply that he wasn't really mentally ill. He does.
It was just a space cow that was haunting him.
Yes, it's like fuck you. I just think it'd be cool if they found out like the Doctor was like trying to. Well, it would be cool if the Doctor tried to use science logic to try to rationalize.
I mean, they don't really say that because he does end up like being mentally ill still and killing himself. Like I don't think they say it's. I think what they mean is like it contributed to his mental illness, but it wasn't maybe the be all and end all.
Yeah, but this is an actual. That's one of my criticisms. They take a person who probably definitely had mental illness and say it was a space cow who hunted him. It's like no, I don't like that. The other aspect of it, just discussing it sort of doesn't hide away from his mood swings, and it's sort of very sympathetic depiction of Van Gogh's. And also, only thing like some people say, it doesn't go in depth because these are 45-minute episodes. They can't exactly go in depth, but like what they did show was of his sort of his mood swings and his mental illness.
Yeah. My number 8 is The Girl in the Fireplace. One that Taffy loves.
Yeah.
He really loves this one.
Yeah. No, I don't love it. I just think it's overrated.
Yeah.
But carry on.
The Girl in the Fireplace is about the Doctor lands on this spaceship in the year 3000, I think it is. Or is it 5000? I don't remember.
It's 3,000, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. But what's strange is the ship's completely empty. There's no life readings on board, and then they notice there's an 18th century fireplace on the spaceship. And it's not just that; it's a time window to the 17th century, and there they come across Madame de Pompadour, who was like a French aristocrat. She was not the queen, not the King of France's wife, but like is sort of like his mistress. Like his sex buddy, basically.
Yeah, when it was lovely mistress.
Yeah. Well, the Doctor said it pretty well of France. It's a different planet.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. But what they find out is the crew are dead, but their androids that are still on the ship are alive. And what happened is the ship broke down, and the androids were programmed to just keep fixing the ship. So what they ended up doing was they killed the crew and then used their body parts to fix the ship because they ran out of parts. But that wasn't enough. They had to create a time window and stock a woman from the 17th century so they can take her brain out and use it as the computer of the ship. And yeah, no, it sounds really goofy, but it's actually like really quite interesting. The Doctor basically builds like every time he goes through the time window, it goes like decades further into her life. So she sees him from childhood to when she dies. So he sort of becomes this companion through her life. She like refers to him as an imaginary friend, but he sort of builds a relationship with her, and he's actually like he thinks he's trapped and he's ready to settle down with her, but then he ends up leaving for a minute because he fixes the time window, and when he comes back, she's died. And this woman that he sort of like built a relationship with over like a few hours had died. It's a really tragic story, and it's just I found it quite an emotional roller coaster. And the performances I thought were great all around.
I'm just going to ruin that by saying the Doctor's 900 years old and he develops a relationship with someone at 8 and they want to bang them when they turn of age. I just find that subtext kind of funny.
Yeah, fuck you.
I would say David Doctor is a pedophile. He's a feisty boy. He wants that French pussy. I think I like it because the sort of contrast between the sort of sci-fi 3000 and the
Oh
year
yeah, I like
3000.
it. I like that aspect as well. I think it's a pretty neat concept as well to, repair a ship from human body parts. It's a bit silly, but it's kind of interesting.
I just like the costume designs are good.
Oh yeah, the design of the droids is gorgeous.
So it's a mixture of like old tech, new tech, and French.
Yeah,
So
they're like clocks. They're clockwork droids. So yeah, that's my number 8. So Taffy, what's your number 7?
turn left. So turn left
Oh.
is so I like turn left. So the whole concept of turn left is it's a big giant what if. What is a big giant what if? So the pretext is they're both in some internet, some foreign. What I say foreign? They're in some market in some planet, and then
It's China in the future.
Yeah, is it China? I wasn't sure if it was internet, but they're in a market, so it's a Chinese market in the future. And it's not really important. It's just a setup. And she goes, and another thing is, I'm gonna praise. I like Donna Noble, where it's a lot of new Who, a lot of new Who companions, pretty much, especially David Tennant area. So Amy, even Amy as well. So a lot of the female companions in my experience, and the new Who just want to jump on the Doctor's penis. In my experience, whereas Donna Noble is like a Karen.
In a good way.
Yeah, she's just a boisterous. So like a good example would be, let's say David Tennant Doctor, like his favorite thing is to make some fucking waffle about.
You're not mating with me, sunshine.
You're not mating with me. That's a good line. But she so as they would sit there in amazement, where she just like won't. She'd be like, "Shut up! What do you mean?" Like she would like, "What do you mean?" Like she get annoyed, whereas Doctor would just talk 100 miles an hour, and then a lot of female companions sit there in awe and gust, whereas she'd be like, "What the fuck you saying?
Yeah.
What the fuck you saying?"
Oh yeah, I just wanted to say this is on my list as well, but it's a bit higher.
So she's like, what the fuck? So anyway, back to the concept. So she says, "Screw you." She basically, a part of the character is like, "Do you want to go with me?" Like, "Screw you. I'm just gonna get lost, and I'm just gonna get lost in the future Chinese markets." Okay, see you in a bit. I think I read. See ya.
Guys, I'm going home.
See me guys again. So she goes to a fortune teller, and a beetle creature, whatever it's called, sort of latches. So fortune teller's talking to her, and she says, "I'm traveling with this man." And then she goes, "How did you?" Said,
meet the Doctor.
And then she goes, "More than life." And a creature sort of climbs out her back, sort of embeds in her, and then she is transported back where she was going to go into a job interview or something like that, where she had a job opportunity or something.
Yeah, basically there was an inciting incident. She's in a car and she has the option of taking this temp job, which is how she met the Doctor, or this permanent job at another office.
Yeah, so she turns left. Because she's angry with mum, and with crux, and then obviously that leads to chain events. So she met the Doctor. So in this universe, the Doctor dies. So when she first met the Doctor, he's a bit of a genocidal prick. So the sort of bad guy of the week. She's is it Rachni? Is it Rachno? Whatever they.
Oh wait, no, yeah, they're the Rachnos.
Yeah, Rachnos. So there's a Rachnos queen hiding in the underground of London, and she's basically had a bunch of eggs, and he's got bombs, and he sort of gets enraged because like he has past conflict with them, and he hates the species. They're like invasive species. So he's fucking enraged, and Donna goes, "Come on, fucking go! Like, don't get angry." Like, basically, he calms it down and goes. Well, in this one, he drowns.
Yeah,
he dies.
He doesn't hate them. He just knows that they're like, it's in their nature to be destructive.
Yeah, so like in his experience, they're a bit like a Krogan for Mass Effect. They're
I
like
think
inherently brutish.
I think we're getting a bit off topic, but yeah, no, that's. But yeah, at the end of that, it's like the facility she's in. It's going underwater, and the doctor is sort of like in a trance of like
Rage.
yeah,
Rage.
rage. And Donna snaps him out of it, but because Donna wasn't with him in this timeline, he dies, and he dies because she wasn't there to snap him out of it, and everything goes to shit basically because the doctor isn't there.
So all like the stuff he's done since that episode sort of happens. So London gets nuked because the Titanic, replica of a flying space replica of Titanic crashes in London because he wasn't there.
People dissolve.
Yeah, fact be resolved. So anything that happened in that series so far, everything after an episode, from a point changes, and that's all leads on to what do you say is a three part? Because I say turn left does lead on to.
It's sort of It's sort of a three-parter. It's almost its own thing, but it does lead into
Yeah, it's all
the next two.
Yeah, so you can watch it by itself as a standalone, but it sort of leads on to the last two episodes of that season.
Yeah. Oh yeah. By the way, the showrunner who I think he wrote that episode, Russell T Davies, he would go on to write a series called Years and Years, and it's basically Turn Left if it was made into an entire series.
Yeah, so it's
oh yeah, you should check out Years and Years. It's a great series. It's basically all the horrible things that could happen in the next 15 years.
Yes, so
check that out if you guys get the chance.
But I mean, you want to kill yourself and watch it.
You could also kill yourself.
Yeah, if you want to get you could end up killing yourself watching it end it. So.
Well, I mean, that's the risk, though. That's what makes it.
Yeah.
My number 7 is Taffy. You should be familiar with this episode. You watched up to series 10, didn't you?
I saw I was on and off after a while.
Yeah. It's the finale of series 10, World Enough in Time / The Doctor Falls. What it's about is the Doctor lands, the TARDIS lands on this spaceship, which is stuck in a black hole, and the part that is that's close to the black hole is going forwards in time, but the back of the ship is staying at the normal time speed, like with the rest of the universe. So say 5 minutes passes at the front of the ship, on the other side of the ship that's maybe 50 years or something. And what ends up happening is there's raiders, I think, that get on to the cockpit of the ship, the control room, and they shoot the Doctor's companion at the time, Bill Potts, and because she's a human, they register her as being hurt because the ship they're on is run by humans. And she's taken to the bottom of the ship where she's taken, to get surgery to fix her wound. And she's basically made part machine. But the Doctor doesn't realize that, time's passing much faster on the other side of the ship. So she ends up being stuck down there for 10 years while he's trying to figure stuff out. And it's basically about it's how the Cybermen start. They're one of the Doctor's biggest villains, and the Cybermen. This is their genesis, how they were created, and basically the bottom of the ship's like a shithole. It's like full of poverty and they're running out of resources. So they've come to the conclusion they have to become cyborgs in order to survive. So the population's gradually converted into Cybermen, and it's a really good almost body horror episode. There's not a lot of blood, but you see the Cybermen sort of in their early form, and they're like in constant agonizing pain because they haven't figured out how to, numb the pain of being a cyborg yet. Until like the Cybermen, they have like an emotional inhibitor, but it hasn't been created yet. So the people they're turning into cyborgs are in like agonizing pain, like mentally and physically. And then the Doctor gets down. He finds that Bill has been turned into a Cyberman, and his old enemy, the Master, shows up. And then from there, it becomes a lot more standard. Bill has to come to terms with being a Cyberman, and they have to try and stop the fleets of Cybermen from going up to the upper levels of the ship and converting them into Cybermen. And it's a bit more straightforward. I think the second half is actually quite a bit weaker, but the first half's really strong. It's a really atmospheric episode, and it's a really good... I think if you want to get into the Cybermen, this is a really good introduction to the Cybermen.
Nice.
Penis.
Yeah, fuck you, Taffy. So Taffy, what's your number 6?
Partner in crime. Because it's so one reason I like it is one reason it's quite high and Sticks might disagree. But reasons fuck you.
You like the people turning into fat monsters.
I like it because fuck you. I like it because it introduced one of my favorite companions. It's technically Donna Noble's introduced in the Christmas special, but she leaves Christmas special. So don't realize, but this is like when she's actually gone on adventures. Like she was a one-off adventure with Doctor, but now she's actually become Doctor's companion. I just like the banter and then some of the I don't like the chemistry, but it's good.
It's a fun episode, but it's silly as hell. Do you know what the plot of it is, Ben? It's basically aliens come down and they release a diet pill, and it dissolves fat people into these like little creatures who are sold off to parents who want to adopt like fat monsters.
No. It's a bit more. So she works for the villain. She's like a private mercenary, private contractor, and then she realised there's this planet full of infertile, basically Japan. So if Japan was a planet, so a lot of technically die and paedophilia. So there's a Japanese, there's a planet like Japan where the birth rate is really down.
Yeah, and then she's part of a company that makes fat babies.
I think she was an adoption service, but because of the demand was so high, she said, "Fuck it, I want to use this pill." So, and the argument is...
No, what it is their breeding planet gets lost.
That's it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I thought it was like Japan.
Which actually ties into the main story arc.
Yeah. I think, because the best thing... You've probably seen a gif where you got Donna Noble. They both... Donna Noble, she's sort of bored with life, so after she meets the Doctor, she's always looking after the next big... She gets a big kick. And so she becomes like a private, like an armed private detective. So she's researching this company. And the best thing is, you see, so they both listen in the meeting, and Dawn Noble is one side of the room looking in, and you've probably seen a gif where they both watching from both sides of the room through different windows, looking at the, listening to this conversation, and they both look at each other like. You've probably seen the GIF, but if you can put up a GIF, Discord. So a lot, I don't know that in the US, but a lot of memes in the UK is that when you meet your friend, you haven't seen for age, when you're drunk, that kind of face. It's a lot of those memes are. You haven't seen your mate when you're both drunk and when you're drunk they meet you. You talk. You've seen someone else seen for years. Oh.
I would say that episode sort of rounds up everything that's great about her character.
And then a lot of women just basically, I want to jump on the Doctor's dick, and they just become sycophants. Whereas Dawn Noble, she's definitely her own fucking woman. She's her own.
Yeah,
she's her own thing.
It's an asexual relationship.
Yeah, they're best partners in crime. They're best fucking buddies. That's what I like about it. It's that kind of band, and they're just best buddies having just fucking around in space and time. That's why.
If just to get our point across, Banatical, put an image up of Rose Tyler, like, and you'll just like, I don't know, like looking aroused.
Yeah, puppy eyes and the skin. You know, Rose Tyler just. Well, I know we ranted, but this best example would be she's such a sycophant. She tries to break through time barrier, and the Doctor gives her a clone. But that goes on to the next.
She tries to she's okay with tearing apart reality so she can see a guy.
Yeah.
But yeah. But yeah, no, my number 6 is The Waters of Mars. Have you seen that one, Taffy?
Of course.
Yeah, well,
That's generally fucking creepy.
Yeah, The Waters of Mars is actually a pretty terrifying horror thriller episode. The Doctor lands on it's the future, and it's the human race's first colony on Mars. And when he arrives there, it turns out that the water is got this sort of like virus in it. It's like a sentient virus that takes over people's bodies and turns them into sort of zombies. And it's really creepy. Like they end up their mouths go all turn into rock, and they sort of secrete water. It's like I don't know how, but their bodies are producing water. And it takes something as simple as water, and it makes it really creepy because you feel like there's no escape, because it manages to break through this whole colony, this whole moon, this whole base. Yeah, they're basically, almost all of them are killed, turned into water zombies, and they're cornered. And the Doctor sort of it's also established this is a fixed point in time. It's a thing in Doctor Who, basically, where this historical event can't be changed in any way, and what's supposed to happen is they're all supposed to have died on that ship. But the Doctor sort of is sick of abiding to the laws of time, and he's like, fuck it, I'm doing what I want, and he saves a bunch of them. But the timeline sort of fixes itself anyway, because the woman he saves kills herself. And because it's kind of fucked up, because she kills herself, that inspires her daughter to become the first human to travel to another solar system. So yeah, it's got a pretty fucked up ending. It's a really creepy and weird episode. I think it's a really well made thriller. I think it's Doctor Who doing horror and thriller at its best.
Sounds good. Definitely.
Yeah, it's very simple but very effective. So. Do you have anything to say on it, Taffy, or do you want to move on?
I've got much to say on it. Speaking of body horror.
Yeah.
The next number 5, I'm down.
Number we on now? I've got to have a memory.
Yeah, well, it's number 5 we're on.
Number 5.
But speaking of body horror, The Empty Child / The Doctor Dances.
So the premise is Chris and Matt Benatical might have seen it.
released in the first series of New Who.
The gas mask zombie one.
Yeah,
Oh,
the gas
yeah, I
mask.
remember that one.
Yeah, I remember that fucking body horror. So that came out in like 2000 fucking. I used to shout myself when I saw that. But so anyway, the plot is they're following some sort of it's like a hospital ship. Well, I'll spoil it, but they're following an object through time and space, and he wants to make sure they just follow this object through time and space, and then it crashes in war-torn doing a blitz in London, and it's all you know in the first episode. There's this kid that goes around with a gas mask going, "Hi, mommy, mommy." But it is kind of creepy. So there's this kid,
Sounds like it.
and people are starting to turn to gas mask zombies, and probably can't play.
Like, well, it's caused by these nanobots are released who like they sort of like they're in an ambulance from the future, and they heal wounds and
The problem is that they haven't been to planet Earth, and when it crashes
they've never seen a human before, so they see this child in a gas mask and they assume they assume the entire human race should look like that. Basically, they think the whole human race should be a terrified child looking for its mummy.
Right.
Which is, it's kind of creepy.
Yeah,
It's kind of creepy.
The worst thing is where the doctor meets a doctor, and he's in hospital, and he's all these people who've suffering from like turn to gas mask zombies, and then sort of what gives it away is the kid has a scar, so of course all of us infected by the nanobots got a scar on their hand, and the doctor notices this kid. Oh shit! The guy's got a scar on his hand,
Yeah.
and the next 10 seconds probably almost I shit my pants and made me shit myself when I was like 10, and I ended in a cliffhanger as well. So so as you can see in the pictures, literally you just see the guy's face turn to a gas mask, and then you see the gas mask. Yeah, it's
Yeah, no,
no.
it was, I remember that episode really creepy.
So, and he's just going, oh, and then ends like that.
Yeah, but strangely, it's one of the few it's an episode that ends on a high note because nobody dies and everyone's cured at the end. So the ending's sort of a contrast to the rest of the episode.
Yeah.
Also, Zeus is my boy. The guy I jerk off to every day.
Oh yeah, this is the episode that introduces the character Captain Jack Harkness, who's like a fan favorite, who would go on to have his own series called Torchwood, which is pretty good.
Or bisexual fantasies, I think. Torchwood.
Yeah. Oh yeah, by the way, the creator of Doctor Who, Russell T Davies, he's like a raging homosexual, and I think he lives his gay fantasies through the guy who plays him, John Barrowman.
I think yes. Yeah, I think all his fantasies are lived through. So that's probably the best episode, and I think I think as well what's good about where it's a happy ending because for context before
if it's the best episode, why is it number 5?
No, I said it. No, fuck you. Let me explain. When I said it's the best I'll probably say the second. I said it's best in the sense of that before series 1, before reboot, sort of in the canon, the Doctor genocided 2 species, including his own race. So I like series 1. It's probably my favorite because he's PTSD. There's no way, but he's fucked in the head. He's suffering PTSD. And he's like traumatized, and then he obviously has guilt because he wiped out 2. He was a Daleks, but he wiped out 2 species. He's a genocide. He's a I won't say maniac, but he's genocidal. He committed genocide on 2 species. So he's really better than it's not emo. He's just I like way Chris Faxon plays him. He's not emo, but
he's more like a Vietnam veteran.
Yeah. He's not. He's just quiet and. It's sort of if people ask about it, he saw if he seen flinch, and he just tries to avoid it.
Even the way he dresses suits his character. Like it's just a simple leather jacket, a very simple shaven head. It all fits in pretty well with it. That's why he's one of my favorite Doctors. Is I think what they intended to do with them, they got it down to a T.
Yeah, he's a war survivor. He survived the war, committed outrageous acts. He's still dealing with it, and he's awful. And then at the end, it's good because he's like, everybody lives. So I think that's like is generally like this is general time he's happy because he feels like what he feels like. Obviously, he's wiped out 2 people. He just feels incredible guilt. And whereas in this episode, he releases nanobots and kills everyone, and so brings back.
And a teenage mother comes to terms with admitting she's a teenage mother.
But no, does she abandon her child? She abandons her child.
Yeah. Well, no. What it is he gets killed in the bombs, but she's been saying that's her brother all this time, but really she's a mother. She's the mother of him.
Yeah, but she abandoned him.
I don't think she abandoned him.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, that's why she's got killed. Or she. I remember saying, but I think didn't she once he abandoned her? Didn't she in the panic during when the air raids are going off, and then she.
Oh yeah, maybe she. Yeah, maybe she.
She abandoned during the panic.
Oh yeah. In the heat of the moment, she.
Yeah,
abandoned him.
She didn't realize in the moment where bombs are going off, and then she sort of runs, and that's it. That's it. She.
Yeah.
So she.
Yeah, and an old lady, her leg grows back.
Yeah. So.
Doctor, let my leg grow back.
Anyway, what's your number 5, penis?
My number 5. Well, it's already been said, but Vincent and the Doctor.
Okay, go. You justified not doing the mental illness well.
Well, I think it's done pretty well. I think I wouldn't be as harsh as you. I think the alien element was used as a way to make it more palatable to younger viewers. I don't think it was meant in an insulting way. I think it was to, it was a way to make the ideas more, consumable to a younger audience who otherwise maybe doesn't understand depression. But I think it's just a really good character. I'm not going to say much on it because it's already been said on it, but it's just a really good character piece on Van Gogh. The actor who plays him is really good. And it's one of the few episodes that actually makes me cry every time I watch it. Like the last 5 minutes of that is like a real tear jerker. It also gives you a bit of hope, even though it probably didn't happen, that Van Gogh was taken forwards in time to see that his work would eventually get appreciated. Yeah, for those who aren't familiar with Van Gogh, he's a famous artist, blah blah blah, but he wasn't appreciated in his time for his work. His work wasn't appreciated till decades after he died.
There's another thing you could do is don't on Netflix, and it's not good. But if you want to, there's a animation film. If you want to see something with Van Gogh, it follows the last days of Van Gogh, and it's done in the animation style of Van Gogh's art style, and it's sort of explanation of his last week. No, that's it. No, sorry. So basically, he follows an acquaintance who ends up Van Gogh killed himself, and it's about a guy meeting people who knew Van Gogh and met him, and there's different narratives about Van Gogh. Some people thought, but it's a really I can't name of it now, but it's on Netflix, and it's done in the animation style of Van Gogh, and that nearly made me cry because it looks at it's about a guy who he's like a son of a friend, and he's chasing up a will. I can't remember the story, but something to do with wills, and he's just chasing up people, and I think he's saw up a will, so he's meeting different people who interacted with Van Gogh before he's alive, and then him basically saying why, and then discussing, and he goes, why do you think he killed himself? And it's a bit controversial because it says it promotes the theory Van Gogh didn't kill himself. He was died, but I won't go into it. But it put the guy going around meeting people's spaces, and why do you think he killed himself? But if you see on Netflix anyway, that's if you want to.
So, Taffy, what's your number 4?
Number 4. It's getting harder now because I couldn't make up my mind. I would say no. I can't make my mind because I don't want to end up saying thing.
Fucking lazy Welsh.
Not lazy. I'm lazy. I just want to. Well, I've had 2. The top 5 is hard, and then I don't want to bring up what we already brought up. So mine was the Cybermen. So that was. Let me look at.
Is it Age of Steel?
Yeah, the Age of Steel 2-parter.
Yeah, I think it's what is it? Rise of the Cybermen and Age of Steel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. It's just a meh episode to me.
I like it because it sort of shows it's Mickey's. So for context, so again, parallel universes. So the TARDIS, because in the Doctor Who universe, it always changed because they changed canon all the time. But during that time, it was impossible. There's difference between alternative timelines and parallel universes or something. So. Because the way it works is that a fixed point in time, but everything behind it, so they go to a parallel universe, which is not an alternative timeline. I don't know what the difference is, but for
an alternative timeline, I assume, is like it's a one universe that has been molded, that's been changed.
Yeah, because time travel and timey-wimey and...
Yeah, and then a parallel universe is a separate universe where you can't mold the existing universe differently, but it can split off. Every decision made can split off into a parallel universe.
So they end up crashing in a parallel universe, and... So again, it's kind of funny. Well, it's the origin. So it's retelling the origin of the Cybermen, and I like this episode. I just like because it's the first time we introduced the Cybermen with me, and I like the Cybermen. I like Barry.
Yeah. It's the origin story of the vanilla cyber, the weak sauce Cybermen.
What's wrong with vanilla cyber?
The parallel Cybermen are just pish.
I know,
they're just generic robots.
I already do one of my favourite because Mickey grows a pet. So context. So Rose abandons her boyfriend at a time to go with the time traveling alien. You don't blame her, but she uses Mickey as a fucking rebound, and Mickey is just a passive. Well, he's cooked. There's no other way to put it. He literally is cooked. He just waits for her. And it's clearly like she's. Whatever the doctor, basically, if the doctor's banned as her for any reason, she goes straight to Mickey as a rebound, and then Mickey says, "Fuck it, I'm gonna stay.
I'm gonna find my dead gran."
Well, she's not dead. She's not dead. She's alive.
Yeah, I know, but in his universe, she's dead.
Yeah.
She didn't fall down the carpet.
But thinking about it. But what another thing's kind of creepy. Doesn't he pretend to be Ricky? So Ricky's is
dead. Well, Ricky's like the parallel version of him. He gets killed by a Cyberman.
I just realised it's kind of creepy that he pretends to be Ricky.
Yeah. He's like, oh, there's nothing left for me in that because my girlfriend dumped me in the other universe. So I'm gonna stay here and look after my gran, who'll probably just die in a few years anyway.
No, it becomes a command. It basically becomes a commando leader. So fuck you.
Yeah, I know, but like he goes there mainly to look after his gran, who'll be dead in like 2 years anyway.
Leave Mickey alone. Leave Ricky alone.
But also it's about the Cybermen. This is not the Cybermen that I was talking about earlier. They were created in our universe on a spaceship. It's the origin of the Cybermen's opens up pretty broadly. Basically, any place that gets to a certain point will develop Cybermen, basically. But in our universe, the Cybermen mainly came from that spaceship, and they came from the planet Mondas, which is Earth's twin planet. Which is inhabited by a species that just so happened to evolve exactly like humans.
But I say, when it comes to Doctor Who, it's treated as a comic book. Lol, it's treated like comic books.
Yeah, and then what I was saying is, this version of the Cybermen is a parallel one. These ones were created by like a mad entrepreneur who wanted to live forever, and he thinks that everyone would be happier if they got rid of their emotions. I mean, I like this dude because I think people would be better if they didn't have their emotions.
Six is a transhuman fascist.
No, I'm not a fascist.
To be humans if they didn't have emotions.
He's a transhuman fascist.
Well, whatever. That's a whole podcast on its own. But yeah, no, he wants to. He creates the Cybermen in this universe, and he sets up factories, and he hunts homeless people and turns them into Cybermen.
Normal capitalists.
Yeah, and also he like has a monopoly on all the technology in this universe, and everyone wears like an ear pod.
Yeah, and what's kind of funny, if you watch, there used to be Doctor Who, was it Doctor Who Confidential, whatever it's called?
Confidential.
What was it called, Doctor? There's always
Confidential.
Was it Confidential? I don't remember it.
Yeah, it was Confidential.
Yeah. So what he used to do is, on BBC, I don't change it, probably hasn't changed. So on BBC One, it'd be on for 45 minutes, and then they would have a behind the scenes, 50-minute behind the scene, like quick is it behind the scenes, and the writers talking about their inspirations and the days when a plot. And Russell T Davies thought hands-free headsets were going to be the future of technology. Genuinely believed that. And if you see his clip, for context, he's made 2005, 2006. He said, "Oh, this is the future of mobile technology."
Yeah, but the moral of the story is Bluetooth is going to take over your mind and make you walk into a sausage factory where you'll be turned into a robot.
Shit. I mean, I always knew it, but like, you know, I
yeah.
Think of
that. I mean, I don't mind the episode. I think it's just this story. I think it's just kind of pulpy, and it's entertaining, but it's not very. There's nothing more depthful about it.
Sticks is a snob. Sticks is a snob. If you can't write an essay on the episode, it doesn't count to him. Just saying.
Use the word depth.
No. I'm not saying it's bad. I just would say I wouldn't consider it in my top 10.
I'm just winding you up. I'm sorry. I just winding you up.
So.
Venus number 4.
Yeah, number 4. Is what was the one that you mentioned earlier? Turn Left. I wouldn't say much on it. Basically, I like it for a lot of the reasons Taffy said. I think it's if you want to feel like shit, then this is the episode for you.
Well, actually, it's good that was yours to number 4 because that episode leads on to my number 3. Which is so Journey, The Stolen Earth and Journey's End. So I like that because I gotta admit, the Dawn of Noble series is my favourite. Is my favourite series.
You have to admit though, that's just fan service. That
shut up.
It's just fan service.
Shut up. Shut your mouth. It's good fan service. Shut your mouth.
Oh my God! It's Davros and the Daleks, and Rose is back, and Martha's back, and Jack's back. Oh my. Yeah, my God, it's great. I
it's one of my favourite. I like it because it leads up, because it's one thing I like about Russell T Davies, he also did with other episodes. His favourite thing is he would leave hints in the background, and so even though all the episodes, there's fancy tunes for it, and people can say in the comments what fancy tunes. So you'll have Monster of a Week, but there was always be a hint of an overarching story. So as you mentioned earlier, in the Partners in Crime, the bad guys is creating fucking fat babies, like babies from fat, is because the host planet she has gone missing.
Yeah, and a bunch of other planets that were mentioned that were missing throughout the series earlier, like the planet
All the bees were missing. All the bees were missing.
Yeah,
Everything.
there was Pyrovilia, which is the planet of the, those lava creatures from the fires at Pompeii.
Yeah, so
And the lost moon of Push from Midnight goes missing as well.
yeah, so things are disappearing in the background. So the hints, and they don't really talk about it. There's little hints for it. So what it is? So stolen Earth. The Doctor finally. So the Daleks are back because Daleks are overused now. So Daleks are back. So the Daleks kidnap, and you ruined it because fuck you, Davros. I think that was a good reveal of Davros. So shut your mouth. So the whole concept is the Daleks have kidnapped. There was 12 or 13 planets. I can't remember many planets. X amount of planets. Say 13 for argument's sake.
No, it's 20. It was 28 planets.
What's
No, 27 planets.
Where?
Yes. Oh yeah. Oh, they took Clom as well. They took Clom.
I know. Did I fucking Clom? Why Clom? Why Clom? So they take 27 planets, and isn't it a pocket universe, or is it pocket universe?
It's a pocket universe. No, I think it's like it's a second out of sync with the rest of the universe. Yeah.
So it's like a time freeze. It's like a time warp freeze. So they create their own reality, and you can tell that Doctor Who doesn't really care about physics and quantum mechanics. They just say, well, that sounds good. But like Star Trek with their magic woo, sci-fi magic. It's not criticism. I'm just saying. I don't know if it makes sense. So they create like a patch of land, which is a second out of sync, and then so the Daleks' plan is to destroy a planet, part of a reality bomb. So the Daleks, it takes the extreme. The Daleks want to exterminate everything, so they create a reality bomb which will wipe out everything. Will wipe out reality itself.
Not just that universe, but every parallel universe as well, which doesn't make sense because there's an infinite number of parallel universes, so it would just be infinitely destroying things without ever actually destroying anything.
Yeah, but isn't that whole point with Daleks? Isn't that how philosophy just exterminate? Just is not take an ideology.
But I assume they want like some sort of like.
What's the perfect
conclusion?
No. It's clever than you think. So these Daleks, the whole purpose is to destroy and exterminate what's not them. So if they're in a constant loop of destroying, recreating, this continuous loop. The universe is endless loop of being created, destroyed, created, destroyed, created, destroyed.
They're hypocrites. They're hypocrites though because they're like, we're going to destroy everything in the universe. Davros isn't a Dalek. But they keep him around as a pet.
Yeah, but it's a good episode.
The dust will become atoms, and the atoms will become nothing.
But you gotta admit, it was when Sarah Jane finds out, because Sarah Jane was the one who saw the Daleks get created in the first place.
Yeah.
So that was pretty good.
Yeah. And Davros has like a little orgasm seeing her again.
Yes. Sees over video camera goes, Sarah Jane.
For you. You were at the very beginning of my creation, yes.
We might as well go quit in the Daleks. So the Daleks are created, I've seen it ages ago, the actual origin. So they're fascist as far as I'm aware. So isn't there like a civil war?
Oh yeah, well the Daleks are the descendants of a species called the Khalids who were at war with another species called the Thals. And then a crazy scientist called Davros comes around and he creates the Daleks, which are basically the mutated remains of the Khalid people. And then they become the Daleks and they gradually they exterminate all life on their planet, then they go out and spread across the universe and kill everything.
We got from fascism. Anything which is not them shall be purified.
Yeah.
There's no logic or reason. Anything else not a Dalek shall be purified.
Yeah.
And he said it's fan service because in the end, it's a good scene in the end where the Doctor saw the characters from the last couple of seasons. They're in TARDIS, and the Doctor goes, "Oh, well, technically, this is a multi-crewed vessel. Why do you think I'm always struggling? And he said, why do you think I'm always crashing? Because it takes.
Yeah, and then they cut to a really cheesy image of everyone piloting the TARDIS, and for some reason, the actress who plays Martha looks into the camera and breaks the fourth wall, and it looks really bad.
No,
she looks into the camera and smiles, and I'm like, "What are you doing? You're breaking the fourth wall, you stupid cunt!" Like
it's a happy moment. I remember watching
No. Why she looks right into the camera and smiles at the audience? A bunch of bullshit. That's what it is.
No, shut your mouth. It's a good fan. It's a good fan service. It's good fan service.
I'll admit, when I was like 11 when this came out, I think I cummed a little when I watched it.
Yes, I'm saying, don't take that moment away from me. Don't take that moment away from me. You fucking penis.
So, you've done your number 3.
Yes.
Well, my number 3 is similar. It's a Dalek story, and it's called Dalek.
Oh, you ruined it. Because I'll find then. That's gonna be one mine.
Yeah, well, Dalek's my number 3. If you want to talk about it more, that's fine. I'll just briefly go over it.
Okay, you go over that, penis.
Yeah, well, Dalek, it's basically about, well, all I'll say is it's a great introduction to the Daleks. It rounds up everything that's great, everything that the Daleks should be, like what makes them great is rounded up in this episode, and it's a great introduction to what the Daleks are. So if you want to know what the Daleks are, watch Dalek. And I just want to have a shout out. It's actually based off of an audio book from Big Finish called Jubilee. It takes a lot of the material from that to make this episode. And Jubilee is its own story in its own right, but a lot of the elements and plot points are taken directly from Jubilee.
This is why it's good.
Yeah.
This is right. So plot is. So context we were talking about earlier.
Well, no. We'll talk about it when we get to it.
Okay. Fair enough. So that's now number 3.
What's your number 2 then, Taffy?
Well, that's my number 2. So these were between. It was between. So I ended up with Dalek being number 1. But he sort of ruined it because we already talked about it. Midnight was my number 2. Midnight was my number 2. So
okay, well, do you want to go for it quickly then?
We've already gone through Midnight, so.
Yeah, but just like why you like it.
I just like the sort of another aspect we didn't mention in Midnight, the sort of alien or this creature which possessed one of the passages. She sort of this psychologist, basically all the other passages end up sort of thinking the Doctor's part to blame, and I like the sort of psychological aspect of these people are trapped in a confined space and it's unknown force, and then one of the scientist guy believes the creature's doesn't believe it's a creature, he just thinks this woman's having a nervous breakdown, and think the Doctor's basically accuses the Doctor in the beginning of abusing, playing along with a woman who's clearly delusional. But also my favorite thing.
There's just one more thing I want to address about Midnight. The ending's bullshit when she starts acting like that. Like she's like, "Oh, throw him out, take him away." Like though she starts talking like this, and I'm like, if you talk to any normal person like that, they would be like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I was suspicious as fuck, like talking like, Oh, take him away. He's
But then I take it as no. She does orgasm a bit. She does orgasm. But I would say she's psychology controlling him, and I think the situation. Then I see her as more of like a psychological creature that's controlling the whole situation, and she's.
God.
Oh, forgive me. I think she's probably getting orgasm for controlling in the situation. Really, probably the best line from the thing is the hostess goes. So she figures out. Well, for some reason, I can't remember why. She figures out what's going on. She basically sacrifices herself.
Oh yeah. Well, the air hostess, in my opinion, is what makes the story great because she's in the background the whole time, and then I'm not spoiling it, but you know, like she ends up playing.
I'm gonna spoil it.
Okay, yeah, fuck it. It's been out. 12
years.
Yeah, 12 years.
So she sacrifices herself to save the crew. So she jumps. She opens the emergency exit, and then drags and jumps out with the creature. And then they all realize didn't even know her name.
Yeah, they didn't know her name, and she was just sort of in the background, and
no one knows
she was just trying to follow procedures. You know, she was very by the books. You know, she wasn't at the center of attention. She was just sort of swept to the side, so you wouldn't expect her to save the day. So I think that's what makes that episode great, because you know the woman who was disregarded and you know just seen as a nuisance ended up being the one that saved them.
Yeah, she's like, everyone sit down, can't we? Everyone sit down and chill until we get rescued, emergencies, things, and then she saves the day. So what's your number 2?
My number 2 is, well, it's the empty child and the Doctor dances.
Okay, so we went through a good old body horror.
Yeah, body horror. It's good.
And don't forget, it introduces Captain Jack.
No, it's great. A guy pukes a gas mask out of his mouth. It's great.
Yeah. It's good family entertainment.
Yeah, definitely. If you want to get, you know, like show your kids an old man vomiting a gas mask out of his mouth, it's great.
His eyes literally turning into the gas mask eye sockets. His eye sockets literally turning into
yeah.
That's
Mommy.
Yeah, mommy.
That was horrifying with the guards, like when he says like "mommy," like that was actually terrifying, like the way he says it.
It's like he's choking, like his last breath. Fucking hell. So of course, number 1 is Dalek.
Yeah.
So might as well at least already mention it. So the plot is the Doctor arrives in a museum, and it's a private. Also, it's quite. I would say this is quite anti-American. This.
Yeah, the villain in it is basically Elon Musk.
Yeah, like a private entrepreneur who has his own private collection of. So over the years, different alien artifacts have landed. Obviously, because different alien artifacts have been landed on Earth. So he's got a private museum of aliens and extraterrestrials. And also, like, because there's little like Easter eggs in the background. You see little Easter eggs in the background from different villains through Doctor Who history. Background. So of course he has a Dalek in his basement, and he's like, I got like this person crashed and he's really damaged, and he says, can you talk to him, like from an alien to another alien? Yeah, I will. And then they lock him in the basement with a Dalek, and then Chris Eccleston literally shits himself. It won't show a clip, but you just see him from point of view of the Dalek, and he's just banging and going, let me fucking out.
One of the best scenes, in my opinion, is when he's confronting the Dalek. I think that's some of Christopher Eccleston's best acting.
There we go. So he's like screaming, let me out. Then he realizes, the Dalek is damaged, is because obviously the Dalek's what do we call it? Not saved, but the actual Dalek's
it's not working.
Shell. Yeah, Shell's not working, and he ends up just laughing his head off and starts smacking it. Like he gets like a statistically tormenting a Dalek, yet sadistically. And then again, this is for someone who he blames, like he feels guilty, also blames because the reason they genocide. Maybe I'm wrong. The thing is, they changed it. They changed the fucking canon. But back then, far as I'm aware, didn't he let off a weapon which ended up wiping out both the Time Lords. His own species.
At the moment, yeah, that wasn't established at this point though. And
all we know is he did something like a weapon. He did something which ended up wiping up his own species. But the Daleks wasn't at the Time Lords.
Let's just say like let out a deadly fart or something.
Yeah, he just let out a deadly fart. He killed both of his species. So, but that's been retconned a few times. So
yeah.
So back then, so I said the whole narrative of him of being a fucking Vietnam vet. So he's confronted with a Vietcong. So then through time magic, the Dalek repairs itself because the energy from a TARDIS gets on Rose, touches it, and yeah, I see a man get suckered to death.
What are you going to do? Fuck me to death?
And you see a man being killed by a plunger.
Yeah, but no, and then after that, the Dalek basically goes on a killing rampage.
Wipes out like a whole private army.
Yeah, but it goes into the psyche of the Dalek because it's being contaminated because Rose cocks everything up. She touches the Dalek and it basically... the energy from the time vortex melds with the Dalek's DNA, and he gets a bit of human DNA, and it begins to feel like Daleks can't feel emotions like empathy or anything, and it begins to feel them, and it begins to question why it's like, you know, it has no problem killing other people, but it begins to develop empathy for Rose.
He has a thirst and need to kill, but then part of him has developmental evil. You know, like he still goes on a killing spree, but deep down. But then he's split into two. There's the uncontrollable killing, the thirst for killing. There's endless killing, which is not a Dalek. But then he starts to develop empathy. But while going on his killing spree.
See, I think this is why it's such a great episode for showing what the Daleks are, because that basically. Like feeling that is like killing the Dalek, because a Dalek's not supposed to feel empathy or emotions to other creatures, so it would rather die than live like that.
The ending is, so the Doctor finally finds the weapons to kill it, and then he faces, that's it. The best line is, so he's screaming. So when he finds out. So the scene when he first finds the Dalek, and the Dalek is wounded and it's tied up or chained up, and he goes and he smacks it and he screams. So it wasn't the same scene. So he shouts at the Dalek, "Why don't you die? You're a scum. You're a piece of shit. I fucking hate you. I should, you know." And then the Doctor goes, "Was the Dalek basically, you got so much hate in you? You make a good Dalek."
Yeah. He says you would make a good Dalek.
Because he just has an unbridled rage against the Dalek.
Yeah, like the Daleks sort of see that as almost like divine.
Yeah, like it was probably the Dalek, pure rage and hatred against the other is the core tenet of like Daleks. That's like their meaning in life, is core hatred of.
Can I just say about this episode, it's very good at showing that, you know, like there's a lot of episodes where there's tons of Daleks in them, but this episode's very good at showing that how just one Dalek can be such a menace. It can be such a threat.
It's not that it's smart. It's like, I think with Cybermen, they're a bit stupid. Not stupid, but especially back then, Cybermen would just shoot, whereas a good example would be he's surrounded, I'd say 50, 60 people surround him, and then instead of killing every single one of them, which he could do, like no problem, he shoots the fire extinguisher system, or what comes on, and electrocutes everyone. And then the 2 hour show is like, even though in theory he could just go around, so he's intelligent as well, that intelligent of. Whereas I think a Cyberman would just take his time to kill everyone, whereas a Dalek would fuck this shit.
Well, see, I think the Cybermen and the Daleks are two sides of what a sort of like a post-emotional species could be. It could either be a destructionist one where it believes, it's the pinnacle of perfection and it wants to all other life is obsolete, so wipe it out. And then the Cybermen are the other side of that. They want to turn everything into it.
Yeah, they think they feel pity for people.
Well, they don't. They don't feel anything.
Well, no,
It's
say
not- it's
pity.
not a pity.
Not pity. They have like their lower conclusion is this is a better. This is a better life form.
Existence. It's a bit. They would be better existing as Cybermen because we are like the pinnacle of like life, basically.
So we must give it everyone for their own good.
Yeah.
Whereas the Daleks says fuck you, the Daleks are only pure race.
Yeah.
Go and fucking wipe out, and
it's basically two ways that logical deduction could go.
But the best scene was when he just gets a weapon and he finally chases a Dalek and he confronts it, and then he's arguing Rose and he's like, and basically the Dalek is dying, and he's like, I'll put his own misery, fuck him, and then Rose like, just let him die. Just let the Dalek.
Yeah, well. He wants to kill it because he wants to wipe out the Daleks because like they killed his people, and I think he just sort of sees that as like, if I kill it, I win the Time War, basically.
His idea is, I wiped out my own species to defeat them. Oh fuck! Why did I wipe out my entire species just for one?
And then Rose is like, don't wipe it out. It's beginning to. It's changed. It's not. It's not a hateful killing machine anymore. I mean, it just killed like 200 men, but
it's only wiped out like a whole private security, like private army or security.
But it's empathetic now. It has fifis now.
Fifis, and he's got so much fifis, he ends up killing himself from the guilt.
Yeah, well, no, it's not just the guilt. Like, as I said, a Dalek, like it's like cancer.
Yeah.
They can't cope with like feeling stuff like that.
Yeah, it'd rather kill itself and feel emotion.
Yeah, and then Stephen Moffat goes and fucks the Daleks up.
Yeah. Stephen Moffat destroyed many things.
Yeah.
What's your number one, Penis?
My number one is Bad Wolf / The Parting of the Ways, which is also this is the finale of series 1. So basically, it starts off the Doctor, Captain Jack, and Rose are transported to a space station. It's a space station they've already been to. It's Satellite 5, but it's 100 years in the future, and it's been turned into a game station, and they have to compete. They have to compete in these game shows, but if they lose, they'll get disintegrated. But that's not like the point of interest, really. What they end up finding out is the contestants aren't disintegrated, but they're
teleported.
Yeah, they're teleported across space. And what happens to them, they don't know. But they end up finding out that there's a Dalek fleet, like just hanging over planet Earth, and it's been disguising itself under radio signals. And they like the Daleks. It turns out the Daleks have escaped the Time War, and the Emperor of the Daleks escaped the Time War, and he's been using the game show to basically transport humans over as genetic material to build an army of Daleks out of the dead, basically.
So you can use the flesh.
And see, these Daleks are different because they have a bit of a hang-up because they're part human. The Doctor says it best. They hate their own existence, which makes them more deadly.
It's the best way could written. So the Emperor escaped,
with his Imperial Guard and rebuilt an army.
Yeah.
The best way to describe like his Imperial Guard or personal bodyguards.
But what I find interesting is the Emperor goes nuts. He thinks he's a god, and like the Daleks have never really had a concept of like religion or faith or anything. So it's an interesting take on these Daleks. They sort of built this cult around the Emperor, and they see him as like a god.
Because Davros created them, whereas the Emperor created them, so he is a god in some way. So
yeah, I know, but they're supposed to be, like a species that's sort of beyond all that, if you know what I mean. So it's an interesting take to have this sort of more twisted and psychotic version of the Daleks.
what's the name psychotic? Like they're more pure hatred, pure emotion. Where this one's more, I said, they're more twisted.
And then Christopher Eccleston's acting in this is, I think, its best out of the whole series. This is what made him one of my favorite Doctors ever, because he owns every scene he's in. The dialogue in it's so well done, and like just the pacing and everything's done greatly. But what ends up what ends up happening is the Daleks invades the Earth and the space station, and basically they have to fight off the Daleks in the space station, and the Doctor has to make the decision. He basically creates this thing called a delta wave that'll destroy all organic life, but for so many miles, but it would envelop the entire Earth as well. So he has to choose between destroying all life on Earth, or like letting the Earth survive, but let the Daleks basically purge the universe. And his companion Rose, he sends her back because he thinks it's just too dangerous for her to be around at this point, and also he doesn't want anyone getting their hands on the TARDIS. He doesn't want the Daleks getting their hands on time travel, so he sends that back to sort of contain the Daleks and save Rose. And I think you get some. I don't like Rose as a companion, but I think you get some really good top-notch acting from Billie Piper, and we get some good moments with her and her mom and Mickey as well. Overall, I just think it's a very well-paced story. It hits all the right notes. It has a lot of interesting concepts, and it's one that I always find myself returning to because I think it's just so well done. I think it's handles the suspense masterfully. Like it knows when to give you, like bites of thrill. Without like basically not giving you the whole cake. It gives you little hints, and it keeps you invested in the story throughout. I just think it's a very well structured narrative.
You're forgetting Captain Jack Harkness.
He's naked in it. He's naked, and he shoots robot ladies.
Yeah, no. So they say, where do you get your gun? You don't want to. Said you'd be naked the whole time. Where did you get your gun? You don't want to know.
Yeah. Also, he's made immortal.
Yeah. No.
Well, basically, what happens at the end? Rose becomes like a god. She absorbs the energy of the time vortex, and she destroys the Daleks. And she makes Captain Jack immortal, and then that's the end of series 1.
It goes downhill from there.
No. Series 2 is pretty shit. It's not great. Series 3 and 4 are pretty great though. I would say it's more an up and down. I would say series 1 is the pinnacle. I think it's the most consistently well written series. Sorry?
Consistently shit.
Whatever.
I just stopped watching when Stephen Moffat took over.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and an honourable mention, Voyage of the Damned. It's a stupid thrill ride. You should watch it. It's just dumb action, and it's a lot of fun.
Love and Monsters.
Oh yeah, I don't even consider Love and Monsters a bad episode.
Silence of the Library. That's another good one.
Yeah. Let me see. The Girl Who Waited and The Doctor's Wife are really good as well. You should check them out.
Which questions there? Don't watch any of the new ones because it's SJW propaganda. Okay.
Yeah, she has a vagina now, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, come on, an alien from outer space couldn't regenerate into a female.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
It's silly.
Next, you're gonna say that they're gonna regenerate back.
Oh God. Oh well, they've already done that.
Ah!
They've generated the Master, who's the Time Lord. Is,
but he's
Indian.
Well,
he's
it's not black. He's Indian. But no. The Doctor. We found out there was a previous regeneration that was black.
No.
But
Yeah.
She's black. Small. No, wasn't that retcon?
No, it wasn't retcons. No, it was just introduced. There's a black female incarnation of the Doctor. We don't know if she's from the future or the past. We just know she's an incarnation at some point in the Doctor's history.
Oh, it'll be cool. It'll be cool. This fall. Well, obviously they killed the fucking Time Lords again, haven't they? They wiped them out.
Yeah, that was dumb.
But wouldn't it be cool if just a little tangent that you put in the comment? The Doctor gets pregnant because she wants to recreate. She wants to keep a species alive.
Well, see, that's the thing. You can't have a Time Lord human hybrid because its brain will explode.
Oh. Try it anyway.
Don't you remember what happened to Donna?
Yeah, but the song's technically a Time Lord.
But Stephen Moffat doesn't give a shit. We've established that.
Yeah, Stephen Moffat doesn't give a
shit. I mean, say what you want about Chris Chibnall, but he actually gives a shit about like the canon of the show. To an extent, though the series finale of the latest series might, some people think, they think that it fucks up the canon, but I think it actually adds and makes it interesting.
I don't care anymore. No, I don't care. It's just